Hey guys, Luke Pruitt here with our Jackson Home. Are you anything like Jim and I? Do you love what you do, love sharing your work with others, but have a hard time trying to figure out how to get it out there? Well, we've got the man for you, Kevin Adelsberger. He is fantastic at what he calls holistic marketing. He brings together your vision for your work and how you want to share it to others and brings it directly to them. Check him out, kadelsberger.com. You won't regret it. Holistic marketing for you and your business.
Welcome to our Jackson Home, front porch discussion without the front porch. Joining me on the mic, as always, is my co-host, Luke Pruitt. How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing great, Jim. Good morning to you. The winter's passing, I think. I think summer's on the way. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in already. It's getting warmer, right? Am I wrong?
Well, it's getting somewhat warmer because rain is coming in, and then it's going to probably dip down below. But I'm Scotch-Irish, so I can deal with anything except really hot and humid weather. But you know, we've got a couple of really great guests here. As you were quoted as saying earlier before we started, it's a watershed moment for our Jackson Home. Tell us a bit more about why that is, and about why our guests today are so special.
I just like to bring up the weather because I enjoy you saying Scotch-Irish. It's my favorite thing you bring up about yourself. We do have fantastically thoughtful guests here with us this morning. They are embarking on a creative journey that we are incredibly respectful of as folks who want to advocate for self-starters, creative people, entrepreneurs. So we have Kevin and Renae Adelsberger with us this morning. Good morning to y'all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Well, hey, let's open with where do you hail from and how'd you meet? This is a watershed moment, too. Our first married couple on the show this morning.
I could be wrong, but I think Aaron and Alice Harden are married.
Whoa, that's very true. And we had a dating couple. This is not a watershed moment when it comes to couples. Okay, so
That's
where
okay.
are y'all
We
from?
can- yeah.
But, you know, Alice throws me off with the Calvary thing. So is she Alice Harden when she's in her creative voice? All right, so how'd y'all meet, and how'd you choose to make Jackson home?
Well, we were originally we met going to Union, and we were interns at First Baptist Church Jackson, and so we were both interns in youth ministry.
We technically should have met in Greek class,
But I sat on the cool side of the room,
which is sadly true.
and Renae sat on kind of the studious side of the room.
The room that passed the class.
Oh,
I did pass. Dr. Van Ness did not keep me from not graduating.
But my first memory of Kevin was him coming into Greek class with a Vikings cape and Vikings horn. Am I remembering this correctly?
Yeah, so if any of you know Dr. Ray Van Ness at Union, he's a giant Green Bay Packers fan.
Love Ray.
And before I even had him as a teacher, he was making fun of me in other classes. I had never met the man, but he'd learned that there was a big Vikings fan on campus, so he would make fun of me in his classes.
Well, of
And wear his cheese head intentionally to aggravate him.
So first day I had him as a teacher, I have a set of Vikings horns and a Vikings cape, and my Vikings jersey, and I wore that all into class, so it was pretty awesome.
But we tend to rewrite history a little bit and say that we actually met interning at First Baptist Jackson. We were there all summer long, and I had a boyfriend at the time who was not Kevin, but Kevin definitely fell in love with me right away, right?
That's not how I remember the story, but...
There were 3 interns in a very small room all summer long.
Wow.
Yeah, Renae broke up with her boyfriend because she discovered me, is the way I like to think the story goes.
Don Juan.
Yeah. I wasn't even trying, which is the great part. But
Did you wear your Viking horns?
a little bit that summer.
Yeah.
I don't remember it that summer. Sorry.
So you fall for each other, you graduate college, and it's time to pick a home.
Mm-hmm.
How did Jackson move from being the place you went to college and the place you attended church at First Baptist to your home?
Yeah, so, well, one of the things we loved First Baptist Church Jackson during college, it really helped us get ingrained with the community. But my first job was at RIFA. And when you work for the nonprofits of a city, you can see the city in such a different light than maybe just as coming in to do business. And so I really gained a passion for working with those in poverty and serving them and working in the nonprofit world. And I loved my time at RIFA, and I went on to had relationships with a lot of nonprofits in town. And Renae also started to work in town and work at Union. And
I worked at Union, and really, we never viewed Jackson as a stepping stone. A lot of our friends are here for 2 years and really actually want to be in Nashville or a bigger city. We could have gone, he's from Southern Illinois, my parents are in Memphis. We really didn't have too many career options in either city.
Yeah.
I'd worked at Union all 4 years during college, and they hired me on as soon as I graduated. And that's really where I wanted to be at the time.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of it, too, was we just fell in love with the city.
Yeah. Initially, it was for jobs. And then over time, we developed a love for the city. And so we feel like the city is important and that our role in it can be important. And if we show care for the city. So, when we bought a home in Jackson so that we could say that we love Jackson and we're a part of Jackson. So
well, this is something Jim and I have really become convinced of, having these interviews and spending time with some really interesting folks, married and non-married, this last year, is folks who stay have the most interesting reasons for staying so often. I'm beginning to find that those who leave are oftentimes for stereotypical reasons, right? You go for a job, right, or you go for an opportunity. But so often those who stay are staying for community, for rootedness, for the connection of business and ministry. It's really interesting, and not taking a shot at folks who leave Jackson. We love you all in Nashville.
Absolutely.
But it's really interesting and intriguing, and you've articulated some of the core concepts of what we want our show to be about. So, Jim, ask Kevin a little bit about his business.
Well, Kevin, your marketing company is Adelsberger.com. Now, what I saw on the website, you help businesses with their graphic designs, websites, and marketing plans, etc. You also operate from a platform called Holistic Marketing. Now, could you explain to our listeners a little bit what holistic marketing is and how that works for a business that comes to you for help or that you seek out?
Absolutely. So the easiest way I use to explain this when I'm talking with people is that I say, if you have a really good ad and the food comes out cold or the server's rude, not only does the ad fail, but it's going to backfire on you.
Right.
And so I've had a long working relationship with the burrito meal, and so I've seen this concept play in with the burrito meal, where I've come in and I've helped Sean do permission marketing, so emails, social media, stuff like that, and it can bring people in. But if the kitchen messes up or something, it's going to backfire. So you bring people in, they might not have a strong opinion about you, but if you mess up, they're going to have a strong negative opinion about you. And so I'm even helping Sean write a training manual right now for his employees, because my passion is to help him succeed. And so whatever that takes. And so holistic marketing, I do something where I call it the complete customer experience evaluation, where I walk through the whole customer experience with you to make sure that every point of contact with the customer is an opportunity to make a stark raving fan.
So you're kind of like Gordon Ramsay for marketing without the profanity.
Yeah, definitely without the profanity and the millions of dollars.
Oh, yes.
But
So the profanity would equal $1 million, right?
I'm not sure. Anywho, so I do believe as a marketer in today's society, you need to be a little bit of a control freak.
Yes.
Because, and Renae might disagree with this. I don't know if I'm a control freak the rest of the time, but definitely as a marketer, I believe in being a control freak, because I want to make sure that the experience of the customer is great, because it's going to help your business
Right, because
long-term.
what I've noticed is that it kind of takes a lot to convince people to say something positive, but it takes no effort at all for them to say something negative.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it takes a lot more energy especially from the ground up. I completely agree with the holistic style, because you just go in there and, like you're saying, just give them an ad, give them a logo, and just walk away. But you're interested in really giving them the whole package there, and that's something that you really don't see a lot.
It's more of a partnership than just I sell something to you and I walk away, and I believe in value. So One of the things I tell every one of my clients is, I don't want to do this project with you unless you feel that you're getting more value than you're paying for.
And that's the true American way. If they succeed, you succeed, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Renae, you're, I hesitate to use the word entrepreneur. You're a creative who likes to share your work, right? And you've got a website, www.pedestriangod.com, which we love. Jim and I love the name Pedestrian God. It immediately invokes imagery and curiosity and mystery, which are some of the greatest things about our faith. So talk a little bit about the name of your blog and kind of the ministry you're hoping to do through it.
Naming is one of the most difficult things for me, be that a title for an article, a magazine article, a book, whatever it is. Naming is extremely difficult because it feels permanent. It feels like something I can't change. And so when I was choosing the name Pedestrian God, I really wanted it to be something that helped me remember what I was focused on. And for me, I like to say that I struggle with an intellectual faith, and that is I have a background in Greek and Hebrew, and so I really like to say, well, I can read my Bible in the original language, and I have so many different facts memorized, and here's what this commentator says, and here's what that commentator says, but it can all get stuck in my head. And I need a reminder that our faith is not an intellectual exercise. It's one that we need to put hands and feet to. And when I think about pedestrian God, it's the idea that we don't serve a God who created this world and then stepped back. We serve a God who so badly wanted to be reconciled back with us that he sent his son to this earth. He literally walked this dirty soil with us and was this pedestrian God who journeyed this earth. He's the God who walked amongst us, and that was what I really liked when we came across just the idea of pedestrian God and put that out there, and Kevin was a big one that I bounced ideas off. That was really the reason why we stuck with that.
We were talking right before the episode began here about kind of the target audience of your writing and thought being specifically kind of writing for youth in mind. And you were saying, I'm not just a women's writer, I'm thinking more broadly. But as I was looking through your latest work here, Ruth, Replacing Superficial with Substance, I immediately encountered some scholarship that I wasn't familiar with. You were talking about the placement of the book of Ruth within Hebrew scriptures and non-Hebrew scriptures when that's applied in that way. Anyway, all that to say, something I love about your writing is the fact that, yes, you're writing for youth, but when I've been reading your blog posts, two blogs ago, you wrote about the role of workers in the workplace in light of Titus. I think you're nailing that balance between engaging thoughtful commentary on the scriptures and also reaping some practical consideration. So where long-term do you see yourself going with Pedestrian God, and kind of what are your hopes for your writing with it?
If I were to have my dream of dreams, I would be walking into Lifeway, quite honestly, and seeing my books on the shelf and being able to basically tour with the book, whichever Bible study I had written. My passion is for middle and high school aged girls to come to know Christ and to follow him. We see this horrible trend now of all of these students, especially once they hit college, dropping out of church. And we seem to be asking ourselves, why? So does the church need to become trendy? Do we need to have more music? Do we need to shake it up, mix it up, meet in a gym, meet in a bar? Like, these can all be good things, but
right.
How do we do this? And my one biggest thing that I stick with is the word exegetical, is that I strongly believe that in middle and high school, if these girls start reading through the Bible and forming that relationship with God, forming that personal quiet time, that is one of the problems. We've taught these students, we need to teach these students how to feed themselves. And so my heart is for middle and high school girls. I love that age. I teach middle school Sunday school at First Baptist Jackson, And that's really where it started. My girls, especially my first 2 years teaching, were hilarious. And they would come and they would say, Miss Renae, okay, so I tried to read my Bible this week, but, well, I didn't really know what it said, so I stopped. Or, Miss Renae, well, where should I read this week? And there was this just earnest desire to read. And so I'm looking frantically, okay, maybe you can read this author, maybe you can read that author. And I was discouraged because so much of it was topical. And that can be good. I'm not at all against topical, but I wanted them to go through an entire book of the Bible. And because that is such an awesome thing to say, I spent 4 weeks in the book of Ruth. That's a lifelong study practice that they can get. So that's my goal. I've taught to women of all ages. I've taught in Illinois to a group of ladies. I think the youngest one was probably 50, and I felt very inadequate because they had been Christians longer than I had been alive. I've taught to youth groups in Jackson. I've gotten to speak to a wide variety of ages. I've written for different youth magazines. I regularly write for the Baptist Reflector, which I've been told twice now that my goal is to bring in a younger audience. And I don't always know how to do that, but I do notice they like to put my picture in there. And so I think that they're just hoping to bring in a younger audience a lot of times for what they do.
And she's currently booking, so just saying.
Very cool.
There's my marketing guy right there.
That's right. And that's something that I love about y'all's work, and why we want to intertwine the questions between the work that you're doing is the way in which you're thinking about scriptural application in the lives of people is this holistic form of discipleship, which is what Kevin's kind of doing with his business. And something that we love that y'all are doing is not breaking apart the segments of your lives into these utilitarian compacts, but letting the overflow of joy that is your relationship together kind of flow over into everything you're doing. So it's really cool. I think we've got time for one more question.
Oh, yes. Kevin, some of your clients include businesses as varied as restaurants, nonprofits, educational centers. You even helped out a bow tie manufacturer. Now, I wish you guys could see this. He is wearing is it all wood bow tie?
Yeah, this is a Maxwell's bow tie. This is a tiger wood bow tie with a purple paisley knot that I'm rocking this morning. So,
guys, you should go out and get one of these things. You will be the talk of the water cooler. My question is, in the modern age, you hear a lot of buzzwords put around like, oh, you're the best kept secret of so-and-so, or word of mouth. In this modern age, can the business really even rely on simple word of mouth advertising strategy anymore?
Well, word of mouth is amplified by social media. So for an old school marketing, so if a billboard is a firework or a commercial is a firework, it goes off once, boom. Social media is the bonfire that you invite all your friends to.
Right.
So it doesn't just happen instantly. It happens over a couple hours maybe, or even, if it's a really crazy bonfire, a couple days maybe. And you invite all your friends and you tell them about it and you talk about it. So social media amplifies word of mouth, and that's really its strength. So word of mouth, and we like to call it permission marketing, where we get your permission to sell ads to you essentially. And so interruption marketing is, so let's say, Renae, can you talk about your favorite football team?
My favorite football team is the Minnesota
Vikings. And now we have an ad for so-and-so. So that's interruption marketing. I interrupted her talking about her favorite football team.
How rude.
How rude, right? So that's what commercials do. They interrupt what you're doing to sell you a message. Permission marketing is say, hey, Jim, you had a great experience today at the burrito meal, or you really like these bow ties. Can we send you updates about that? And you're like, hey, I did have a good experience and I do like those bow ties. Please send me updates about that. So we've just got your permission to tell you about it. And so permission marketing is much more affordable, much more effective long-term to use to it's not good for reaching new customers necessarily, but it's great for retaining customers and creating lifetime value.
That's especially true you hit upon something that's very prevalent in social media, that it's not really a showing of you're going forward to just get a bunch of likes on Facebook. You want to get engagement from Facebook, and I think that's the same as in advertising. you don't want to just hand out 500,000 business cards. You want to actually see some return from that. You want your customers engaged in the business that you're marketing to.
Absolutely. Engagement's worth a lot. And so, and I don't say that to say there's not a place for interruption marketing. Mm-hmm. It's great for in introducing yourselves to people, but I think long-term the strength is permission marketing. That's good for business to business or business to client.
So it's, would you say you use different techniques for different kinds of businesses in that?
Absolutely. So there's very few mediums that are one size fits all. So each different type of business might need a different form of social media and a different type of content on that social media, or maybe billboards work for someone, but somebody billboards might not work for. So there's everybody has a specific package that they need, and then I help people think through that.
You're listening to Our Jackson Home. We're with Kevin and Renae Adelsberger talking about advertising, spiritual writing, Vikings football, and we'll be back with segment 2 in just a moment.
I love the logo, crocheted by Jay. He sincerely cares about making my business more inviting. Eblin Agency. Working with Kevin over the last 3 years has come with all the benefits of working with a true professional. Sean Montez. Burrito Meal. Let Adelsberger Marketing help your small business succeed with graphic design, email marketing, social media support, and other marketing strategies. Visit their website at kadelsberger.com. Welcome back to Our Jackson Home, front porch discussion without the front porch. Now, as Luke and I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, is a watershed moment for Our Jackson Home, and the reason for that is we've got a new partnership. Kevin Adelsberger has been doing some marketing stuff for us. He's revamped our logo. He's gotten some social media stuff going for us, and he is going to become a regular part of Our Jackson Home. And Kevin, could you tell us a bit about what you did for us, where it started?
Yeah, so where it started was I follow Luke on Twitter, and I saw these podcasts coming up, and so I listened to one of them, and I just was really impressed with what you guys were doing. And so, because I love the city of Jackson, and I see this as a great thing, I can see down the road what kind of role this could play in our city. And so I said, Luke, I didn't even remember I had your cell phone number, so I Twittered you to see if I could get your email. And I emailed you, and I said, hey, what if I give you what if I did a logo for you guys? And let me just first say, you guys are terrible negotiators, because I just got an email back, and you're like, whatever you want, that's fine.
Yes, join us, come.
Yeah. And I was like, you could have pushed back a little bit, but anywho. So I could have named my child after my first child. We're not pregnant, by the way, just before everybody asks that. And so we talked about it. I got kind of a little bit of a feel about what you guys wanted, and then I just went to work, and we sent you guys some samples and picked one out, and we got it done pretty quickly. Now,
when you guys go and check out our page to see the new layouts and banners and all we've got up there is it's a little house, and it's got nice warm colors, and just go check it out and see. And while you're there, share the page, like the page. Big things are happening with Our Jackson Home. And Kevin, you're a fan of football and motorcycles and music, although not at the same time, because that could be really dangerous, especially during the Hail Marys, you're rocketing down the
Absolutely.
Now, do you share similar interest with Renae? Or Renae, is there something you do that is just all Renae that you do in your spare time?
All Renae. I guess those would be the pretty stereotypical girl things. I am a big crafter. I do like to scrapbook. I like to crochet and knit. I do like to bake. Kevin likes to cook, but he is incapable of baking, so baking is all me.
It's too precise.
Hey, I bake too. You ever make the cookie shot glasses?
No, but I've heard about them.
Oh yeah, real easy. All you need is a popover pan, and I'm just showing my man side here.
But I did realize early on in our relationship that if I did not form a love for football myself, football was going to be a big barrier in our relationship. And that was one really neat, I don't know, I guess, evolution of football, because I don't super love watching college because I was trained on NFL.
We are an NFL household.
We are in an NFL household. And I don't super love watching a game that's not the Vikings. I watch it, but I don't know the players. But
that being said, there's some people who have wives who tolerate them watching football. My wife, it's one of my favorite stories to tell. We were watching a football game, and they throw a penalty flag on the field, and my wife goes, "That's intentional grounding." And in that moment, my heart swelled with pride because my wife just called a pretty difficult call to make in intentional grounding.
And we did go. Where did we go? Was it not the actual Hall of Fame, but like the travel version of it?
When we were in St. Louis 2 years ago, they had a traveling Hall of Fame where you got to
go under the
hood like the refs do and watch replays and call what the play is.
I was awesome.
And Renae rocked
Nailed it.
That's got to make you proud. Just stand up in a stadium going, "That's my wife.
Absolutely.
That's my wife who called that illegal interception."
I don't know if that's a thing, but
Hey, I don't really fall. I'm more of a fencing guy, so she probably knows. She way knows more football than I do.
Did we just find out Jim's into fencing?
I think that's
Did
what
that
happened.
happen?
When you say fencing, do you mean like picket fence or like the sword fighting?
Oh, I'm trained in a 3-sided epee and broadsword, and I can also rock the bow staff.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
I used to have the bruises to prove it.
Well, Jim, you'll be interviewed at our next podcast regarding those things. Man, I want to talk Vikings history with you, but that's another time.
That is another time.
It's
been
a
a rough couple of months.
Yeah.
But Teddy Bridgewater is looking like an all-pro.
Babyface Bridgewater, as I refer to him.
That's a fantastic nickname. Well, I just mean all-time Vikings history, too, because it's a crucial franchise in pro sports history.
Absolutely.
And way to not root for college football and its exploitative acts against young people in our community. Anyway.
Well, I'm also a Illini fan, and they are terrible at football, so that doesn't
And
help
both sides of my family are from Nebraska, so I have to be a Cornhusker fan by default. And we just joined the Big Ten.
So they got to play each other, so it's just we just don't even talk about it.
It's
But
okay.
basketball
Just let it
season
be.
just started, and we're good at basketball, so go Illini.
You are good at basketball. The Tommy Frazier days were great, though, when you were growing up in the 90s for the Cornhuskers. So, Kevin, you're quoted as saying that one of your deep desires is to fight poverty.
Absolutely.
By helping small businesses grow. Mm-hmm. It's really fascinating. So talk about just the reality of small businesses in towns like Jackson that have been impacted by, the international business community and its movement of franchises, particularly into interstate-based towns. So where do you see kind of the particular niche of the small business, and how specifically does it help to eradicate poverty in any way?
Wow. That was a pretty intricate and complex question.
Can you solve poverty in the next 1.5 minutes?
All right,
Done.
here we're going to put a minute on the clock, Jim. We're going to solve poverty. I'll just say this. I developed a love for fighting poverty at RIFA and realized what the impact that can have. And while I was helping, originally when I got started marketing, I was just helping the burrito meal. And I saw that if I helped Sean grow his business, he's going to have to hire people. And one of, if not the best way to fight poverty is to get someone a job. And so by helping all these businesses grow, they're going to have to hire people. If I'm successful, they're going to be successful, and they're going to have to hire folks. And that also goes to my help with nonprofits. So I'm a big fan of Madison County CASA, someone I support. If I help them, they'll get more funds. They can help more children. And so for me, marketing is not something I just love to do, but the base desire to do it comes from a part of caring for our community.
You're also giving hope, because if you don't even know where your next meal is coming from or how you're going to support yourself or your family, your emotions are low. But if you give someone the opportunity, just something to do with their hands or their mind, just making jobs, giving them hope that there could be a future, because if they're struggling just to make ends meet, their hope goes into a downward spiral. And you're not only helping fight poverty, you're also giving hope.
Absolutely, and that works with business owners too. Business is something that people say it's not business, it's not personal, it's business. That for a small business owner, there's nothing more personal than their business. And so I've found that people who I work with, I don't just become some contractor that they hire out. I become friends, and we have a relationship, and we care about each other and talk about serious issues the more we get to know each other. So business is very personal to me because it's a very personal thing when you're a small business owner.
Well, we love small businesses. We talk a lot about it on our Jackson Home, but there's also the reality of corporate America. I enjoyed a Cliff Bar this morning, which is a very intricate part of corporate America now, despite their marketing. So is there a nationwide brand or company that you think, I love the way they market themselves, sell themselves, even the products they produce? Who's like somebody you love on a national scale?
Well, I am an Apple user, so they do a great job. I'm not so I'm sure I'm going to make a lot of people mad when I say this. McDonald's has a wonderful ad campaign right now. Grant Imahara from Mythbusters is going to the factories where they make the McDonald's food to prove to you that it's not pink slime. Now, are they lying in the commercials? I don't know, but just the whole concept is pretty great. So it's a fun one I've been watching recently. I like anybody who does something different and tries and does good work. Something different and does good work, because you can do something different and not be very good work. And you can be just good work and it's not necessarily something different. But when you hit both of those things, it's very interesting to me, even if I don't have any interest in the product.
It's like those Old Spice commercials. Every time they come on, I have
Absolutely.
to watch. Not the screaming guy, Terry Crews, although I do like those. The older commercials say, "Look at your man. Look at me. This is a kitten. Now I'm riding a motorcycle. I'm in a hot tub. Are these pearls?" And I
love that. I switched to Old Spice after watching all those commercials.
kind of like a subliminal thing. Not that there's anything real to subliminal marketing. Now, you and your wife are active in your local church. What church is that again?
First Baptist Church, Jackson.
Ah, yes. Now, how might a person of faith deal with the... Now, wait a minute. I want to make sure I get this right. What church was that again?
First Baptist Church, Jackson.
Yes, exactly. And what if you're in a situation where a person is asked to help with marketing a business or service that may go against their principles? How do they separate, well, it's just a job, but some things you may ask to market, say, alcohol or et cetera. Where do you draw the line?
Well, we're teetotalers at the Adelsberger house, but...
We're what?
Teetotalers. It means you don't drink.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're teetotalers at the Adelsberger house, but I wouldn't necessarily not help a company that sells alcohol. Right. That's a hearty amen, Luke. But we're Baptists on this side of the table. So, but
a hearty amen from which church?
From, I'm not going to touch. That was from Luke. Anywho, but I wouldn't help a company that I felt like was doing something immoral, because I believe that the faith, my faith in Jesus, affects every part of my life.
Right.
And so that even affects my business side of stuff.
And can I interrupt for a personal story? One really cool thing about Kevin, if you have never met him, is people seem to trust him really quickly.
It's actually terrifying.
We think it's the beard. We think it's like a trust beard or something. But one really cool thing we've seen, even in, I guess it was last Saturday, was he builds these relationships with people, even if it's not someone he's doing business with, but he does work out of the co. And so someone else who was at the co had asked him, well, did I hear that you go to church? And Kevin was like, well, yeah. And that became a conversation then about what we believe and why we believe. And one really cool thing is Kevin can come back and we can have these open conversations about the different clients he has, and by becoming part of their life, because they trust him, and because their business is their baby and they're trusting their baby with Kevin in a lot of ways, that's opened the door to a lot of spiritual conversations.
It's like Paul said, we just got to be all things to all people, because if we try to avoid situations like that, how are they going to see Christ if we don't go and see those people, work with those people? I mean, the Bible says, be in the world, not of it. We got to be the light of Christ. So, you're doing a good thing. You may work with some people who are totally antithetical to what you believe in, but the very fact that you're there and remaining true to your principles and still being friendly with them and showing them the light of Christ, as Renae said, that's a ministry on par with being a pastor in a church,
and absolutely,
in my opinion.
Which I've actually been a pastor on staff at First Baptist Church Jackson in the past. But I believe something. I heard a great thing the other day talking about pulling people instead of pushing people, you're pulling people. And so if I was just walking in and like throwing theology at their face and yelling at they're sinners, I'm trying to push them through something. And if you try to push someone through something, it's not going to be very effective. But if you pull someone, so if they ask about it and you say, hey, you give them a few nuggets here and there, you'll pique their interest, and you'll kind of subtly pull them through a process to get them to know more information. And so it's just part of who I am, and so I can't separate those out.
Which indirectly is kind of similar to a marketing strategy. You don't try to drag them in. You just present a positive message and let them come unto you, basically.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about in segment 3, the rapid fire segment's going to be real food, fake food. And it may all kind of be fake food, but is it a real food distributed in an international country or a domestic state by a fast food chain? That's the game we're going to play. Sounds complicated, but it's awesome. And it stems from a little thing that Kevin used to call Hub City Bites. So we'll talk more about that in segment 3 of Our Jackson Home.
Adelsberger Marketing believes on operating from a holistic marketing strategy. What is holistic marketing? It means thinking about every point of contact with a customer as an opportunity to make a stark, raving fan. It means that marketing is more than just a logo or an ad. Instead of thinking about something like customer service or returns as an annoying, non-profitable area, it means thinking about it as a tool you have to help retain a customer and increase that customer's lifetime value. Let Adelsberger Marketing help your small business succeed by providing graphic design, websites, email marketing, social media support, marketing strategies, and even by developing sponsorship relationships. To schedule a free meeting with Kevin Adelsberger, owner and operator of Adelsberger Marketing, visit their website at www.kadelsberger.com. Welcome back to Our Jackson Home. Front porch discussion without the front porch. We've been talking about marketing and faith and food and football, and now we are back with Kevin and Renae Adelsberger for section 3 of the podcast, where we will play a game called Real Fast Food or Fake Fast Food. Woo! Yes, Luke Pruitt, ladies and gentlemen. And this game is pretty simple. Kevin and Renae are going to be competing against each other for bragging rights in this game. I'm going to be
sharing. That can be dangerous around our household.
Oh, yeah. Well, Luke and I are going to be sharing some fast food with you. All these fast foods come from chain restaurants, either here in the U.S. or in other countries, and you're going to need to tell us if they're fake or real. Each of you has one guess apiece.
And doesn't, Jim, this kind of stems from Kevin creating something that was cool called Hub City Bites a while ago.
Yes. And you came up with you called it a Adelsberger food scale. What's that all about, man?
Well, when I was in college, I started writing a blog about local restaurants in town, and it was kind of a precursor almost to this. And I would rate, essentially, if it was good, I'd give it more stars. I mean, if it was good and there was a lot of it, that was the qualifications. So it was a fun thing I did until we got married and I couldn't afford to go to restaurants anymore.
So let's play Worldwide Bite, shall we? Let's do this.
All right. Number one, I'm going to read the description and what it's called, and you guys will either say fake or real. Number one, the Burger King's pumpkin burger from Japan. The pumpkin isn't your typical tawny squash. The burger features 2 slices of kaboka. It's a green, melon-sized winter squash, commonly known as Japanese pumpkin, along with bacon, lettuce, a beef patty, and a creamy sesame seed, peanut, almond, cashew, and hazelnut sauce, all in a pumpkin-shaped bun. And you can also supersize it as the pumpkin bomb option of 10 slices instead of 2. Is the Burger King pumpkin burger from Japan real or fake?
I'm going to say fake.
Real.
It is real. 1 point to Renae.
Pizza Hut, Middle East. Do they have Kit Kat Pops? They're bite-sized Kit Kat candies, frozen, deep-fried, in a doughy shell, and are sold much in the same fashion as tater tots or French fries in the U.S. Is the Kit Kat Pop at Pizza Hut in Syria a reality?
I really, really hope it is because it sounds delicious, but I'm going to go with fake.
Fake.
Neither. Real.
We were really bad.
So
at this.
what's the score as we stand right here, Luke? Renae with 1. Number 3, the chicken foot soup from China. This savory soup is offered on the McDonald's menu in China. It consists of a chicken broth-style soup with onions, beans, and diced chicken. The soup spoon is normal in all aspects, except that the handle is shaped like a chicken's foot. Real or fake?
Fake.
It is fake. You both come away with the point on that.
Nice. If it had just been this chicken foot stew, I would have gone for it. But the handle of the soup of the spoon just kind of. Shout out to Alton Brown. He had a great chicken foot story when he was in Memphis a couple weeks ago.
Shout out to Alton Brown. So you went.
Yes, and it was amazing.
Man, he's a sharp dude. All right, we're in the United States. So there's a lot of vegans in Vermont, right?
I'm not sure. I can either.
There are. Let's
verify
just
that.
stipulate that as a reality. And they came up with what's called the Bark Burger, right? This is from Denny's. It's in the northeastern states throughout. And they introduced the Vermont burger, the Bark Burger, as an all-savory herb vegetable patty with your choice of side bread and drink, right? It's even a child's version. It comes with a toy made of 100% recycled materials.
At a Denny's.
At a Denny's.
Well,
The
Denny,
Vermont Bark
to
Burger.
quote Jeff Winger, Denny's is for winners. And so I'm going to say that it's real.
I'm going with fake.
It is fake.
Ah.
What's the score now, Luke?
Renae 2, Kevin 1.
I am the worst at this.
All right, next one. This one comes from Malaysian Pizza Huts. Pizza Hut's squirting crust pizza from Malaysia. They introduced for the first time ever squirting pizza crust that oozes bursts of cheese and tangy sauces. There is even a notable commercial for this creation that implies that a girl's dream is to be proposed to after biting a piece of the exploding pie.
Did you say it's Malaysia?
Malaysia
Well,
Pizza Hut.
I call foul because Renee's actually been to Malaysia.
I know, which means I'm going to get this wrong.
and so
we
I'm
did
gonna-
not eat at Pizza Hut in Malaysia.
I'm going to say it's fake.
I kind of want to go with fake too.
The Pizza Hut squirting crust pizza from Malaysia is real.
I've just breaded this game. That's a community reference.
The score sits at 2-1. 3 to go. Here we go. The Wendy's Lobster Caviar Burger in Japan. This burger, available only in Japan, includes lobster meat with a drawn butter sauce and topped with a layer of caviar. It is priced at approximately $16.28 and does not include drinks or other sides.
I'm going to say false, just based on the cost.
Real.
Renae takes the lead, 3-1.
I am the worst at this game.
I've eaten in 3 of these countries so far.
Yeah, that's real. I mean, she has the Southeast Asia advantage.
Okay, this one's from the United States. It's called the Mega Tater. Similar to steak fries, common in American steakhouses, these Mega Taters come in a box of 4, and each are the width of a 50-cent piece. Each box comes with your choice of dipping sauce, barbecue, honey mustard, ranch, or ketchup. Real or fake?
Well, I bet it's in Texas because Texas loves their potatoes. So I'm going to say real.
Yeah, I'll go with real.
You're both wrong. It's fake. It's actually created as a parody product by YouTube comedians Rhett and Link.
All right, here we go. Renee's up 3-1, so we'll make this one worth 5. Just, to let you have a
come
shot
on.
here. All right, is this it? Is this for all the marbles? Are we going with 10 or 11? 10 it is. The crawfish sandwich by Subway in the United States. Created from the popularity of Cajun cuisine. Cuisine. So it's an off-menu item at Subway's, right? It's kind of been in response to the popularity of burrito chains throughout the United States that have successful off-menu items. And once you unwrap the sandwich, 1 cup contains crawfish that you can peel yourself and add to the sandwich. The other cup contains a gumbo-style mix of beans, rice, and Tabasco sauce. Who comes up with these things?
I'm going to say false.
I'm going to say you guys came up with that, and I'm going to go with false. Fake food.
Because if it's real, we need
Oh, wait,
to talk
but then
about
we
the-
answered the
No,
same thing.
no. That's good. Let's. You're both right. It is fake.
Yeah.
Close us out with one, Jim.
That'd be way out of their core
Okay.
competency.
What's the score right now, Luke?
The score is 3-1, but we've scrapped that with a 5-point question.
All right. Well, the final question.
This is
This-
rigged. Come on.
This is from Burger King in the United Kingdom. It's the 966-calorie smoked bacon and cheddar burger. Okay, now this 6.4-ounce puppy has 966 calories, 58 grams of fat, and a spokesperson for the National Obesity Forum in the UK said, "This horrendous burger is a graphic illustration of where the government's obesity strategy has gone wrong. This burger is the height of irresponsibility, and if left unfettered, the food industry will do nothing to help stem the current obesity epidemic." The 966-calorie smoked bacon and cheddar double, real or fake?
I hope it's real, so when I get to travel to the UK, I will eat one.
I know it didn't sound that ridiculous. I kind of want to say real, too.
I would definitely believe it was if it was in America, because that's an American type thing. But I'm going to say real.
And Renae?
Real.
They're both right.
Wow, Renee wins.
Renee wins.
Renae wins. Real fast food or fake fast food?
Was the worst at that game.
Well, thanks for being with us, guys. If you want to engage really thoughtful people who care a lot about our city, care about ministry, and are doing really cool work, go to pedestriangod.com. Pick up Renee's latest work on Ruth. It's really thoughtful, cool, and has great graphics on it. And if you want some good graphic design, some thoughtful marketing, a way to think about moving customers into your client base without you sitting around stressing. If you want to focus on doing your work and not thinking about reaching people, having someone else come in and guide you in that, we recommend Kevin Adelsberger and his marketing firm to you. So thanks so much for being with us this morning.
It's our pleasure.
All right. Well, you've been listening to R. Jackson Home.